One of the things that I've learned in the 14 plus years of working with businesses to grow their brands online, we're talking about from logos, websites, business cards, flyers, SEO, websites, I probably already said it, email marketing, everything organic under the sun. There has only been one thing, one one thing that will grow their business the quickest and the most efficient. All those businesses that have been in those dark places where they don't know what to do, they're at their wits' end, they're not getting sales, they're not getting leads, they're ready to throw in the towel because they've tried everything under the sun. Ads was the thing to save them because ads is going to be the best and most efficient way in which you can generate leads and sales on a daily, consistent basis with predictability. You establish a system to where you can show up every day, every week, every month, knowing what's ahead based on what you're spending on ads. So, today we're going to break down how you can launch your first mini system of generating leads for your business. Let's get into it. Before we dive in, we have to address one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to ads, and that's thinking that an ad is just that video that you're seeing on the front end while you're scrolling IG, watching Facebook Reels. There is so much more that goes into a proper ad campaign that generates results consistently. This is the reason why a lot of people say, "Oh, I've tried ads, it didn't work." And it's like, "No, you didn't do it right. You worked on with someone on Fiverr, or you got some kid up the street that's charging you just $1,000 a month to run this because they're going to school for it." But it wasn't an actual proper ad campaign. And that's where you miss out on having that consistency, that scalability, predictability, ensuring that your business grows and you understand the return that you're getting for your investment. So, what we're going to dive into today is walking you through building out that system so that you can get consistent leads, predictability on a daily basis. And starting off with step number one, which is your profit positioning statement. This is a formula that I use with my clients when we're onboarding them. And the reason for this is that everybody tends to have this really bloated mission statement, or their elevator pitch is just a bunch of fluff, a bunch of adjectives that don't say anything and leave people confused, and they're like, "What?" You're like, "Oh, I help visionary dads," or "I help prolific business owner." And it's like, just what do you do again? So this is super elementary, super basic. It's going to feel that way, but it strips everything back. It gets you down to the core. Then from there, we'll build off of it. You'll build out your ad hooks. You'll build out your actual proper offer that we're going to offer in exchange for your leads information. We're going to basically generate, emails from this. This is going to give you clarity across everything. From now on, when you post content, you're going to be able to know what it is you're communicating because you understand who your targeted audience is, what it is that you're offering, and what is the result that you're getting them, and also understanding their objections. What are their pain points? What is it that they want to avoid? So let's dive in. Super simple. I help who with what get result without big objection. Okay, so we're answering who, what, result, and big objection. Here's some examples. Okay, this would be for like a local service. I help commercial property managers with consistent scheduled landscape services to maintain what's the result? Clean, professional looking properties, and then the objections without tenant complaints or last minute maintenance issues. Okay. So again, this is one of those where it's like adjectives. I know I talked about like don't fluff it up, but adjectives are important here, right? In this instance, if this landscaping business only services commercial basically landscaping, big properties, they want to target commercial property managers, right? Or owners. And in that instance, because their team, their overhead, however they're structured, that's important. You might have a product that's for school teachers, right? But it might be specifically for elementary school teachers. So you don't want yours to be, I help teachers, right? Or I help school teachers, because now you could have 20 leads that are high school school teachers, and your product doesn't work for them. Gosh, why am I stuttering so much? So you would want to be specific with saying elementary school teachers, right? Or if you're in a specific niche, hey, I help business owners, but yours is specifically to restaurants. You're something like a Cisco. Then you would say, I help restaurant business owners or operators. So adjectives are not bad when they provide clarity to who it is that you're targeting. Okay. And then what is it that we're helping them with? With consistent scheduled landscaping services. Again, we're keeping this super simple, super stripped back. Where we do want to start getting fancier in this is with the results and with the objections, because with results, we want to focus on outcomes that matter to your targeted audience. You want to put yourself in your prospect's shoes and fully think through and understand what it is that they want, right? A lot of times we get caught up on our features, on our benefits, on what we do on the day to day. Like me with ads, I can get super nerdy and teched out about how we're doing screen recordings, how we're using GTM to track this, we're optimizing to that, we're doing all sorts of incredible things that get you the results. But the business owner just wants that end result, which is, hey, we want sales to increase month over month. So make sure that you're putting yourself in those shoes so that the result is outcome based and it's not just something that's making sense to you with the type of benefits and you're listing off a bunch of features that your product has and so on. And then big objection, right? I put here without tenant complaints or last minute maintenance issues. This is where it's one of those you're going to know your audience. What are their pain points? What are they trying to avoid? Is it to save money? Is it to save time? Is it to not have their tenants pissed off because they didn't show up last company? Maybe you're in an industry where people are super shady and so they actually want that security. They want you to make sure that you communicate that hey, you're not going to deal with that. So it's super important. Moving on to example number 2 here, coaches and consultants, right? I help coaches and consultants with proven lead generation framework get booked sales calls without posting content every day. So it's pretty clear coaches and consultants. So you could have two. You definitely don't want to list off like a whole list. So that's one of those where you do want to strip it back. But I'm giving you some examples here that hopefully kind of how they apply for you. So if something comes to mind for your business, write that down. Okay. So it doesn't have to be like exactly like how you're seeing it here. It could apply very different to you based on your niche, your vertical category, industry, whatever it is that you have to offer and the people you're targeting. Now, with proven meta ads and a follow up system, right? Sorry, I skipped down to real estate agents with a proven lead generation framework. I could also just say with help with leads. Okay, but there's adjectives here that are important in the sense it's proven and it's a framework because I'm helping coaches. So they use that mindset of frameworks of the thought leadership component. So there's instances where different adjectives, different fluff is effective because it applies to your targeted audience. Again, put yourself in their shoes, their language, their pain points, what they're looking for, and always think outcome based. Okay. And then the results are get booked sales calls, right? So that's an outcome that they want. And then what is the objection? Without posting content every day. One of those things where it's like a lot of people, probably yourself, right? You came here and you're posting every day and you're not getting freaking results. And that's a pain point. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want it to be easier. Nothing is easy, but there are strategies, there are things that are available to you to make life a lot easier. So why not use it like ads? And then number 3 here for examples, I help real estate agents with proven meta ads and follow-up system generate consistent buyer and seller inquiries without chasing leads from Zillow and cold outreach. So this would be me to like real estate agents if I was niching down. If you're a real estate agent, your offer would read something more like I help home buyers with what? Selling their home or listing their home, right? And what's the result? At about you could say at 10% or within 5% of industry. Again, this can change too depending on the market. If the market's super hot, you don't have to worry about trying to promise that you're going to get them at what their home value or how you communicate it. I could be butchering it because I'm going off the top of my head, but you get it. Think about that result that will make sense. And then without what, right? Without your home sitting on the market for 60 days, without getting dealing with sellers that aren't qualified, buyers that aren't qualified, whatever it is that the pain points that that home buyers that want to sell want to avoid. What are their big objections? Again, get in their shoes. Don't think you and what you think you know. Think about what's going to communicate and talk to them. You might know that they want a certain solution, they want to avoid a pain point, and you know that in order for them to avoid that pain point is something completely different. That's fine. You'll handle that once they're in your system and you're meeting and you're working with them. You know what I mean? A lot of times I could have a client where they're so caught up on something like, well, let's make sure we want to make sure we're on the YouTube or, I heard LinkedIn's supposed to, and it's like, I know what you want for your business. You want your business to grow, right? You want sales, we'll handle that. So hopefully that's helpful there. I'm trying to find different angles, different things that can kind of hopefully stimulate your guys' minds to think through how you write these out and what you do. Again, keep it super simple though. We'll get to flesh it out. And again, your positioning statements are going to become your ad hooks. They're going to become like your headlines, all the content that you're going to create for like your landing page, for your website, for your ads, for your emails, the follow up, even when you make content for online. Use this as your foundation so that you're understanding. So as you're making a reel or something and you're thinking through your audience, you revert back to this. What are the pain points, right? I also have these really cool like AI prompts. Those are only available to people that join the 2-day launch. So as much as I want to hook everybody up big time, but you could also just prop these into ChatGPT, literally just copy and paste your positioning statement and have it help you create whatever it is you want. And you're going to see it'll have so much more clarity and help you create incredible content from emails to landing page copy to ad hooks and so on. So moving on now to step number two, which is your simple ad framework. This is going to be your entire ad. Now, we're going to break and shift some things here. People always think that an ad has to be this glorious, super creative, incredibly produced type of thing, and that the bigger the camera on the other end and the bigger the production, the better this is going to be because look how Coca-Cola does it. Look how Fantasy Kings does it. Look at how all these different businesses are filming these commercials and how they are on TV. That's how it has to be. And wrong, actually, ugly ads work the best. Literally, the ad that's freaking filmed on your phone and you're like this is going to get you the best results. In fact, all these big, huge corporations spend their freaking months spending their resources on getting people to create user generated content, or they're even created fake type style user generated content because that's what performs best. At the end of the day, what's going to make this super effective is that you're clear on your who, your what, result, and the big objections. And you're going to see that literally, I've seen people that are like, are you looking to buy a home? Well, I'm so and so, and I've been a real estate agent for this many years. And right now, the market shifts that we're seeing, it can be unpredictable. But if you want to get more information or get your home valuation, simply click the link down below, fill out the form, and I will reach out for you and get you blah, blah, blah. Right? I kind of stuttered there. I've seen ads like that, and that is probably not best practices that they are, or whatever. Those work the best. I literally had a client one time, and they were just like, they literally read like that, super monotone, the script, and they spent $250 and they got 73 leads from just that video. It was a terrible, I thought the video was not going to do well. And I'm always like a big component of like, hey, just make an ugly ad. Stop trying to be perfect. Just go film it on your phone. Go sit in your car, walk outside. But this one was like pretty bad where I was like, oh shoot, okay. They took this literal, whatever. Wasn't their strong suit. It's fine. The thing ended up crushing it because at the end of the day, people aren't dumb. People know real, right? They're going to click on this. They're going to get more information. You're going to prove yourself that you are the best at what you do and what you're offering. But at the end of the day, if you're clear with who you're targeting, you're going to hit the right people. They're going to come forth. So don't overthink it when we're talking about ads here. And so I have a simple formula framework that is hook, authority, follow up with a CTA. Okay, your hook needs to be that you call out a real moment or a pain point. And it's super important for me. We always think about pain points, right? It's like if you're bleeding and you're wounded on the street and someone runs up to help you and they're like, I don't have a phone. You're like, oh my God, call 911. Right. And this is Myron. He taught this in one of the challenges that I attended. And he's like, and then you're going to like unlock your phone, hand it to them because you want them to call because you're in pain. It doesn't matter. But on the other end, if that person's across the street and they're waving a $10 bill and like, hey, you want 10 bucks? Come get this. You're gonna be like, I don't know. That dude's kind of weird. So make sure that you always lead with pain because the people that you're going to help likely have pain, regardless of if business is good or whatever. It doesn't have to be super negative, but you want to find those pain points. Moving on now to the authority follow up. Why you? Right? Your method, system, or experience. And so this is one of those that authority follow up can just follow up the statement you made with more facts or like, did you know business owners this, whatever. But it has to have some form of authority to again show that you know what you're talking about. But honestly, what I recommend here is that you go the route of just simply saying like, "Hey, I'm so." If you're a real estate agent, it's like, "Hey, are you a home? Are you a homeowner that's wanting to sell your home in this market, but you're scared, worried that you're not going to get what it's truly worth, and that it's going to sit on the market for days?" Well, hey, I'm so and so. I'm Rene Marquez, and I've been a real estate agent for over 20 plus years here in the Las Vegas Valley, and I help homeowners just like you list their homes effectively, whatever words, again, using your formula. And then the call to action is going to be like, so if that's you, click the link below, and get your offer, whatever your next step is. So like for me, it's going to be where it's like, hey, are you back to that point? Hey, are you, e-commerce business owner up late at night, refreshing Shopify, hoping that most sales are coming in? Well, if that's you, I'm Rene Marquez, and I've ran paid advertising for over 14 years, helping some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies to the smallest startups with only $100 to spend. And I want to invite you to a masterclass that I'm hosting where I break down the 5 mistakes that businesses make that are costing them leads, sales, and profits. Click the link below, save your spot, and I'll see you there. Okay. So I was trying to just go off the top of my mind, and I think that's one of my ads. But that's what it is, right? So that's the authority follow up. So it could be literally you presenting yourself as the authority, or it could be an authority statement to an authority follow up to the statement that you just made, right? So it's the pain point, and then it could be like, did you know that this percentage of houses on the market last for this long, or did you know that commercial people that actually frequent and service or landscape businesses see stronger, see smaller churn rates on their tenants or whatever language is used. Again, think about again into your prospects' shoes and knowing their pain points, and you're addressing that with that authority statement that kind of doubles down on what it is you just hooked them with. And while we're continuing on the framework of your ad, this is where you do need to decide what it is that you're offering. So, what is it that you're giving in exchange for the prospect's information? In my instance, I have a masterclass. So, hey, I'm offering you a free live training, a masterclass workshop. If you put your info down below, save your spot, you get in. That's what I'm offering. If you're a real estate agent, you're offering a home valuation, right? And you can even call out that it's not an automatic generated one, it's a proper one. There might be a different name. Or if you're offering your salon, right? And you're like, all right, or you're a lash artist, and are you tired of waking up and having to do your makeup, mascara? Do you want to wake up flawless, not having to do your makeup? You know, then I'm so and so, and we own this salon, and we're offering you $20 off your first set. So if that's you and you're ready to come in and want to book that appointment, click the link down below and book it, right? So your offer can be communicated in that sense as well. So I think you guys are savvy enough. Again, leverage ChatGPT to help you with that. I don't want to spend all our time on that, but that's basically what your CTA is going to be in connection with your offer, what it is that they're going to get. And there's nothing that's good or bad. You think through it, you know your people, and already hopefully with some of the examples, things kind of clicked in your head. And if not, leverage find your competitors. Super cheat code, Facebook ads library. Go in there, find your competitors that are running ads, even bigger ones, and then see what it is that they're offering, and you could glean and learn from that. Obviously, don't take something that's like literal. Have some class, be original. You have something that makes you very different than your competitors. That's why you exist. And so make sure that that's conveyed in your offer and overall in your ads. And then quick creative tips when you're editing. I always recommend just doing this in CapCut. If you have something else already that you like, cool, use that. But your first 2 seconds are going to be super important because you want them to stop and to watch that. You definitely want to do captions. I don't care if it's the big, corny, like big letters and they go red and green and highlight. Whatever fits your aesthetic brand you're comfortable with, even clean stripped back ones, but do have captions. You always want to I forget the statement that we used to have from Meta that they always taught us, but it was like basically like delight for sound on, right? So you create your creative for sound off and you delight for sound on. So you always assume that sound is not on, but if they happen to have it on, it's delightful and it only makes the experience so much better. And then your pauses, fillers, you want to cut these tight. Don't leave any space. And it might feel uncomfortable at first, but literally chop, 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 chop. So I'm as soon as you finish that statement, cut it, go to the next one, keep them tight, don't leave filler, and you'll see that it's going to save you a lot of time. And then also you want to keep them short and clear, anywhere from like 20, 30, honestly, even 50 seconds. And I hate to admit it, but even if it's longer than a minute, cool. If you're a slow talker and you feel that's what it's going to take, just give it a try. I also encourage you try some shorter ones and then see how each one performs better. And now moving on to step number 3, which is where we decide how you're going to capture leads. So what I have here is you have the options of your website, whether you create an actual sign up form and a landing page on your website that's like a makeshift, or you're using something like Lead Pages, Insta Pages to build out an actual lead generation page that has all your info, follows best practices, and people sign up. Perfect. You want that. But today, what we're mainly going to talk about is using instant forms within Meta, because it's just assuming that you guys don't have a landing page. And I don't want you guys, this is something for you guys to get started now today. If you're extra ninja and you already have the lead pages, you have those tools, perfect. You know what's up. Create your landing page on there, drive people there. We're going to talk about how you set up your pixel on there. Well, we're not, because I don't have it in here, but so make sure that you install. I have it in here as far as a call out. So if you are going to drive to your website, even let's say you don't have a proper landing page tool, but you have like a Squarespace website and you want to make a sales page. So it's important where you're driving them that it connects to your ad and what it is you're offering. You don't just want to send them to your homepage. They get lost and they're like, where the heck is the home value? Where do I sign up? Or where's the $20 off? Where do I book? What's the offer? So you want that connection. You don't want them lost. Walk people through. Trust me, it is super important. And that's why landing page tools exist, because they literally are a key differentiator in getting you over 20 to 30% more conversions than if you're just taking them to the front of your website and they're just lost to search around. And so in your business manager, which we'll talk about when you go build your ad, in that instance, you're going to go to event manager and create a pixel. If you already don't have one, it's going to give you a code. And so that code, you're going to want to put it on your website. It'll tell you where to put it. So if you're handling that, you do it yourself. If you have a developer, somebody, or find somebody on Fiverr out there that can install that for you, be super cheap. That way you can track your lead events on your website properly when you run your ads. And I do want to call out that though we're focusing on instant forms because it's going to be the quickest route that you could go, you do eventually want to evolve and grow into having proper landing pages. Okay. So this would be where you have like a CRM system and you're housing your landing pages on there and not necessarily just a landing page tool, but you have automations, you have email follow up, the whole sales pipeline, 9 yards that is just going to take your business even to higher levels and higher depths. So going now into instant forms, when we actually build these out in Meta, you're going to see how simple it is. It's not going to require a website. It is going to get you more leads. Okay. So it does convert more. It makes it easier. Now, I do want to caveat this with that a lot of times you could end up with lesser quality leads because of how easy it was. So when we talk about building out that lead, you do want to make sure that you add extra qualifying questions, make it a little bit more challenging. And you're going to see you probably likely end up getting with like dollar leads and so on. So you do want to make it hard. And we have businesses that end up asking so many questions and the leads are still coming at a dollar 50. So it does really well because it's native within the platform. So keep in mind on that. Keep an eye on if the quality is falling off or you're seeing some big missteps and disconnects from your ad to what's being filled out in the form. But overall, this is going to make it easier for you. Again, lower friction. You're not going to have to track. It's all embedded in there. You'll see it in Lead Center. We're going to walk through that here shortly as we build out the campaign. But Instant Forms is going to be a great way to start. Get your foot on the, foot in the door, start generating those leads, getting sales. And then from there, you can now invest more strategically in getting a proper CRM system that's going to help you build out those landing pages, automations, and so on. All right. And so now the moment of truth, we're at step 4 and we're going to build out this campaign. You have that profit positioning statement, clarity on who you're targeting, what it is you're offering, the results, and the big objections that your prospect audience is facing. You created those ad hooks, right? You filmed your videos, edited them. You're good to go. You know what you're offering in exchange and you know where you're sending them, right? So maybe you created that landing page on your website. Remember, you're never sending them just to your homepage or to get lost. There needs to be a connection, or you're going with instant forms. Either way, let's dive in. I have some notes here in this doc, which you'll have access to below, but we're going to do the full tutorial of walking in Ads Manager, okay? So I am within, right at this moment, Ads Manager. That's where you're going to build out this ad, okay? How you end up in Ads Manager is the domain that you would type in is business.facebook.com. However, just go into Google, type in Meta Business Manager, scroll down the ads and click the first one. Just for some reason, when you do it the other way, sometimes some folks end up in wonky places. It's happened, it auto populates, whatever. If you're not logged into Facebook, it's going to prompt you to log into Facebook or IG, whichever one you use to log in. Then you're going to end up in something like this. So in this instance, this is like an old, like just dummy Facebook page that I had created. IG is not connected, whatever. If you don't have yours connected, you want to make sure to do that, but you're simply going to look for Ads Manager, okay? So go into Ads Manager and you're going to go into campaigns and you end up here, okay? And if might prompt you to create an ad account, go through that process, super simple. Now, we're within Ads Manager. It's time to build our campaign. And really quick, for those of you that are driving to your website, you need to set up a pixel, right? So go to the little hamburger menu, all tools. You'll see Events Manager for me, but it might not show. So simply click all tools and you want to find Events Manager. You'll click that. You'll go to create a pixel. You might even have a pixel already created. Perfect. Hit the install button. It'll give you the instructions. And I already told you guys how to go about that. Now, time to create the good old ad here. Okay. So you're going to go to create and you're going to see leave auction here. Just leave it at auction. You're going to choose your objective, which we're going with leads. We want to generate leads. Okay. We don't want traffic. We want leads. So we go to continue. And now you're going to see the hierarchy of a campaign. And you have campaign, you have ad group, and then you have ads. And so basically, a campaign contains ad groups, and ad groups contain ads. That's all. We're not going to break down the science of it, etc. Just understand the tiers. You can't skip one step without the other, so you don't have to worry about that. You see it from top to bottom here. You see it from left to right up here. Straightforward campaign name. Just call it what this is. So I always like to do like the year. So 2026. Meta Business Accelerator, and we'll call this prospecting leads. Okay, and call it something so you know what it is. And you'll leave campaign details the same here. When you go into budget, you'll see campaign budget or ad set budget. Keep it on campaign budget, okay? Daily budget. I always recommend, depending on the amount that you have, to do just lifetime. So, like, let's say you have $700 that you want to spend this month for your first trial, for your first campaign, or 300. Go lifetime, like 350, and you keep that. And we'll talk about flight. Typically, on average, daily, it's going to depend on your industry. Your cost per lead could go anywhere from, we have people that are like at dollar leads, $3 leads, some at 6, some at 7, some at 9, some at 20, some at 18. The B2Bs are much more expensive sometimes. So it's going to differentiate. So this is one of those where I recommend like the least that you start off with. Shoot, if you have to start off with $5, go for it. It's literally just about getting launched. You'll get the data. And if you want to start off with like $10, then that's it. But I do want to say, let's say you have lesser, let's say you just have $10, right? Or you know that you can only do $300. Then simply go with the lifetime budget, do like the 300, 350, and then now just flight it in a way that it's going to spend anywhere from 20 to $30 a day. Okay. So it might not run as long, but you want to make sure that you maximize that. So just play around with this. I don't want to get you guys lost in the details. And since just if you're let's keep this rule of thumb just for moving forward for you guys. Lifetime budget, if you're in the 300 to like $700 range, it should not be shorter than 7 days. Okay. So, and it should not be longer than 14 days. So that's where I'm going with. Okay. So if you want leads and you have anywhere from 300 to $700, it can't be shorter than 7 days and it can't be longer than 14 days because otherwise it's going to not be enough to get you the results, get you the learning phase. From there, you'll know how much you're paying per lead and you can make the adjustments that you need. For those of you that are like just straight up, hey, I'm spending 25 bucks a day, 35, I got 40 bucks, I want to spend 40 bucks, cool. But if you're going to go like 10 bucks, again, give it a try. You'll find out. But I recommend that if your overall total is somewhere within that range, just go that lifetime route and then keep that flight. Okay. As a rule of thumb. So for this, we'll keep it 350. No A/B test. Don't worry about anything else here. Special ad categories. If you are a real estate agent, you do want to click housing. Okay. And that's just simply, it's going to eliminate that you can't discriminate basically. So like if you wanted to target only certain zip codes, certain demographics, it doesn't let you do that. Again, you let your ads do the targeting and so on and so forth. So if you are a luxury real estate agent and you're concerned about getting people that have the budget for what you're looking for, then you want to make sure that your ad communicates that, right? In a not discriminatory manner, but you can't use things within here to try and just target specific neighborhoods and stuff like that. But you could do it in your ad. Hey, do you live in like, for example, in Vegas, we have like different communities. So you can call out those communities if that's what you're focusing on at the moment because you have certain deals, you have certain networking and so on and so forth. So that's that, right? Budget, campaign budget, lifetime, we move forward. Now on your ad set, just name this whatever it is that's going to be within here, call it that. So this could just be broad targeting, or we're going to go with advantage. So we'll just call it advantage plus, the abbreviation. Now, here you have your conversion location. You can do website. You could do website and instant forms. And basically, so if you have a landing page and you want to do that and you want to test it again, instant forms, the system will optimize to get you the best results. So you would still put in your URL, and then you also still create an instant form, and Meta does the heavy lifting for you on figuring it out. But for those of you, we talked about instant forms. Again, if you're doing website, you're going there, you have your pixel, and you're going to select lead, and that's that. And then likely if it's new, you're not going to see it green because you haven't had any leads yet. So that's how you set that up. But for those of us, we're talking about instant forms, we're going straight to instant forms. I do want to call out, there's other things like Messenger, your IG. So Messenger is your Facebook Messenger. IG, is going to be messages on IG, and then WhatsApp. If you use that, if you do more international stuff, you could also do calls, which is literally click a button and it calls you. That works. Go for it. You select your page, key performance goal, maximum number of leads. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about dynamic creative. Don't worry about catalog. And now for flight, again, if you do daily, I would leave no end date. So if you go the daily route, I won't do it because it'll reset everything. But if you go daily, just leave no end date. Just remember to turn it off. Okay. Um, or if you just want to test it out for a month, then put the end date, but just remember it's going to turn off and you have to turn it back on. If you do lifetime, remember where I talked about if you're within that 350, 700 range, or let's even say to like 1,000, you don't want to run less than 7 days and you don't want to run more than 14 days. Okay. So if it's February 5th, then we would run this ad. We're saying 350. We're in March. We want to run, say, through the 13th, right? You could worry about times if you want. That's it. Within here, you're not doing anything. Location, again, important. If maybe you're a salon that's in Wisconsin and you can only service people in Wisconsin, don't leave it broad because you don't want people in California that you cannot freaking service. So I see that a lot. Make sure that your location makes sense with, if you can only ship to certain places, if shipping doesn't ship to other countries, etc., then you want to make sure that you establish this. But if you are just a national business and you're digital and you can service anybody in the United States, perfect. Otherwise, you could go in here, you could put an address, you could do locations, you can do zip codes, whatever that might be, just have at it. Super, like if I do Las Vegas, you'll see that I will have a DMA. I could have the city, you could do neighborhoods, markets, etc. Typically, just selecting your city with like a mile radius could be super effective. So if you know your business address, put your business address in, and let's say you want to do five, because that's really just how your city works and people travel and how who's going to use the services. Go for it. It's going to differentiate. Um, then from there, you're just going to scroll down placements. Let's leave these on because at the end, it's getting you leads, getting you leads. I do want to call out that I never like running on, if I click here, if I go in, I don't like running on apps and sites. Typically, we have programmatic that handles that. And that's just, you're going to show up on different website and apps. You have no idea where your ad's showing. I just like to eliminate it. And then same with ads on Facebook Reels. You see kind of the example to the side. It ends up being like a tiny little square on a reel. And the reason for this is more brand safety. It could be somebody literally getting shot. I've seen videos like that where it's like somebody's getting beat up and there's your ad at the bottom, or somebody's doing some crazy stuff and there's your ad. So brand safety, remove ads on Facebook Reels. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Leave it. I do check this off. That's what I do. And then you're next. Click next, and now you'll create your ad, right? So if this is video one, just call it video one. Select your Facebook page, select your IG account. If it's not connected, it'll just run like a fake IG account that when they click sends over to Facebook. Verify your changes. Just start off. I'm not going to do that right now, but you could do that. And then when you go to create your ad, if it's image, video, carousel, simply if you want to do multiple images, so where people click through and view more. So it's straightforward. Just leave everything else. Now your instant forms, I have some here, which you'll see 5 mistakes keeping your business stuck. Discover the hidden roadblocks, crushing your growth, and exact blueprint your figures business used to break through. Friday, September 5th, 3 p.m. Eastern. Continue. And then enter your answer, email, review information, and then slide to submit. And then it says, thanks, you're all set. You can visit our website, exit the form, view next steps. So you can create that form by simply creating form here or selecting the one that you have. Okay. And then when you go to create your form, title it, select more volume, higher intent. I always recommend higher intent. They just changed this recently, which is the one-time code. So actually just keep it more volume, but you add extra questions for qualifying. Don't make it so easy again. Just if there's pricing that's concerning, if there's any other factors, you want to ask a question that's kind of going to filter that or give you insight into the type of lead so you can make the adjustments that you want. So more volume, optimized or manual. So I think just optimize it, let it do how it's going to do. We call this test for the sake of this. We'll hold next, and then background image optional. So you can upload your image or select from your ad. Typically just run it from your ad or upload an image. You're previewing everything as you do it. Greeting, right? It's there. Description, you can make a list, like what are the features, etc., whatever. And then next, you'll do the questions. You could add questions, multiple choice, short answer, conditional, appointment request, etc. You could do conditional logic too. So like if they answer yes to this, it gives them that. Have fun at it. It's all self-explanatory. You're going to be able to figure it out. I believe in you. Go through it, fill it out. You're good to go. You can connect to Google Sheets. You can connect it to your CRM. Go that route. You can do it. Ends up taking you through Lead Center. Follow up channels. You can connect WhatsApp, chat on Messenger. It's going to give you all that different stuff. You could build out automations within your chat for the follow up component. Have at it. Simply going to go into creative. Right, we would do like a video ad in this instance. This is my test account, so I have like some just fake. These are all cropped. This one's not. So this is kind of the process. Don't trim. You don't need to do anything because you already did all of that. Make sure that this is all on original. That's one thing I didn't call out for creative. You want to make sure it's 9 by 16 vertical. I just assumed. I'll re-edit and put a note on that. So if you're watching this, I'm addressing it now. Primary text. This is one of those where guess what? We have our copywriters and we strategize and work through copy and headlines, but this is one of those was like just put your positioning statement into ChatGPT, tell it to give you Facebook ads primary text, and it might give you a few options, and then Meta will give you a few as well. So this could be where you just continue your ad script. Tired of working too much, um, tired of having no money, fret no more. We have that here. And then headline, you'll see that it creates stuff automatically. So as you type stuff, it'll create some cool, savvy stuff, right? Dream big, stuck in a rut, no money, too much work. We've got the solution. Discover how to break free. So it does a good job. So, and it tells you hopeful changes, financials. So take advantage of this stuff. Meta will do it for you. So just type some stuff that just includes, maybe put your positioning statement in there and see what it ends up typing. Um, Headline, this is where you do want to be more specific. So it could be get 10% off, right? So 10% off, or it could be get your free home valuation. And then you could do multiple options. And so what it does when you do multiple options, it will serve the best performing ones. Okay. So you could have multiple. Look at this. It gave me headlines based off of my primary text. So these are already there. You don't have to copy them and put them here. And as long as you're applying them, you're good. Description, you could put something if you want. I leave it blank. You don't really see it on mobile. And then sign up. You want to make sure that it's sign up. If you want to do learn more, go for it. Test that. We see the best results when we go with signups. Okay. Advantage enhancements, check those out. Up to you. I like to just simply keep video touch ups. That's what makes sense for this stuff. Um, I'm not going to do translations, so I'll make sure to turn that off. Let me hit done. And the reason I don't do translations, and that's for sure, is that I've seen it where I get ads in a language that I don't even speak, and it's like, why are you showing it to me? So just click through. Make sure you select all of these off because, yeah, don't trust the system. I wish it gave you an option to like just say no, but perfect. Advantage creation, turn off text. Okay, turn on visual touch ups. Perfect. That's it. Again, if you are doing your web events with your pixel, make sure it's selected and you see your pixel here, which it should populate automatically. Perfect. If you don't, you're doing instant forms, don't worry about it. All right. And so that's it. You hit publish and you launch your campaign. All right, let's switch this up and get up close and personal. Look, it's pretty simple. You saw how it's done. You went through that worksheet. The links are down below for resources. If you have questions, you get stuck, reach out. Just comment down below. Reach out through the websites down below on IG. Follow me at Rene G. Marquez. You can always send me a DM here to help you in case you get stuck on any little step. But this is the way that you're going to be able to launch something and start getting ads today consistently on a daily basis. You'll never be the same. You'll never look back. Until next time, my friends. See you later.